for the OtterClam Classroom session. In this case, we're going to be covering about bonds, some of the game theory behind it, why we use certain variables, like the 3 3 4 4. You might hear some of the occasions of 9 9, and then there's other numerical factors that people use in terms of their strategy. You are the player in this case, so we'll dive deeper into it.
Yes, let's wait until like 5 minutes passed. Get most people in. They take some time. Sorry guys for my quality. I'm at my girlfriend's place today. Next session will be from my own place. There I have a studio mic, so the quality will be much better. But I hope you guys still understand what I'm saying. You can ask questions in the Classroom Questions channel or in the Classroom's chat. There is no cooldown there. You can talk, and if you have anything to ask, you always can ask there. Yeah. Little Cobros is gonna record our not AMA, our clanonomics. Let's call it this way. Clanonomics is cool. Our class. We will also upload this, so in case you have to go earlier or something, this will be repeatable. You can replay it at any time. We will see the feedback that is going to happen on this, and the better, the more often this can happen. I was thinking of making this weekly, maybe with new introductions of new systems. For instance, I don't know, we add the market where we can leverage 9.9, then we have a class where we can talk about this or different changes that happen, or maybe things like CIPs in the policy discussion channel. If there's any new policy, we can talk about this in the classroom. And if you have any more questions, we can always respond to them. And yeah, the thing we want to do here is create a safe haven, so to speak, where people who don't know too much into this can learn in a safe space. And yeah, we are very happy that we can share our knowledge to our fellow authors. This will for sure improve community understanding of things, and that's what we are aiming here for. So we are very thankful for you guys tuning in. Any questions you have, please keep in mind that we do not or we cannot respond about things that are not really like knowledge questions. We cannot answer you if you ask us, for example, when is 9.9 coming, because we don't have the info on this. And even if we would have, if it's not announced, we can't give out early alpha because we have schedules as admin, like not me, but the admins have schedules. So please keep this in mind and try to ask questions about things you currently don't understand or things you would like to have an in-depth explanation on. Yeah, we would very appreciate this. Yeah, we're just waiting right now for more people to tune in. I see it's already way more people. Very happy to see that the event is already being listened by so many. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Welcome to everyone who tuned in later. Yeah, we are waiting for little Cop Ross to give us the green light because Ross will record this. And yeah, we don't want to start the class without recording this, just in case you guys need some clarification further down the line or something. Maybe a question to the guys listening here already. What do you think about this lo-fi music bot? Would you like to have this before every class? Or what kind of music genre would you guys prefer? If you want to, you can write it in the chat so we know. Nice. Appreciate this. Thank you, Otter King. Thank you, Kairos, for your feedback. Yeah, I also listen to lo-fi a lot when I'm studying, for example. It's something to vibe on, to relax on. So yeah, I think I will keep this like as an introductory music thing. I'm gonna look for a bot maybe that gives you, of course, Ross. Oh, my bad, sorry. Are you unmuted now? Ross? I have enabled it to you, but maybe you have to change to push to talk. Maybe it's a push to talk thing. Let me check if I can edit the channel, the permissions.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep. All right. It's been recording for a while now, so we're good whenever. But
Okay.
I totally forgot it was push to talk. That's my bad.
No worries. I'm changing it for the mods to have it to voice activity.
Oh,
So
sweet.
y'all can listen to it. Yeah, now it should be enabled for you too. Sorry for this. I just created a channel and forgot about this. I'm trying to make this very let's say and background noise free. A lot of people forget they have voice activity on, and this may interrupt the class. Now we have a static vibe. That's quite good. Guys, please join Sleepy's stream. I'm seeing 11 people inside of the stream, but we are 20 people in the class. It's very important that you tune in the stream. It's having all the questions, so I would appreciate if you all join the stream and watch Sleepy's stream. First things first, I took all questions. I saw some questions repeat. I tried to put them all together into one. If you have any questions after we finish the PowerPoint, please note it down somewhere. It's like similar to school, and you can ask them in the classroom chat, and we will go through them. So don't hesitate to ask questions. This is a safe haven. You don't feel dumb or something or insecure if you have a question that may seem easy for us to understand. We are all here a big family. I appreciate every question that you guys provide. So don't worry. It's always safe here to ask questions. I took everything from classroom questions. I didn't take too many questions into this. We can ask questions always down the line. So yeah, we have a curriculum. Sleep is gonna show you guys down the road. We have Otter King here for maybe more tricky questions that the more savvy people of you know. But this is for the future. So yeah, thank you guys once more, and I'm gonna give the mic now to Sleepy to introduce us to the today's class.
What's up, guys? So today we're going to be doing more knowledge on bonding, staking, and some of the game theory behind it. Some of the more important questions we got throughout our PowerPoint presentation that we have here for you guys were how much experience is required to stake or bond? How steep is the learning curve? So that's what we're going to be covering a lot. Um, the game theory is just understanding the numerical values. You might guys hear it in general chat or voice chat. 334499. We'll be covering some of those baselines here, how we have it in Clam. It's identical how you'll see it in most other DAOs because it's just universal coverage of game theory. And we'll also kind of go along the lines of what is game theory in reality in terms of how it applies itself to crypto. Then how is to stake or bond? Those are common essential things that we're doing it within the OtterClam protocol. So those are sort of how you use your investment majority of the time. Then what's the difference between APR and APY? That's normally the numerical values of what you're getting as a return or a yield. So we'll be covering mostly about those numerical values and how they factor into your return. When and then also some more personal questions. When should you consider 4-4-3-3 and why? And we could go during like some situations and scenarios where you'll want to consider maybe 4-4, maybe a little bit of 3-3, or maybe even both, right? And then later down the line, when we have more utility in solutions, then these numerical factors of game theory change. Then ROI and the calculator, how does that kind of change up the way you sort of see your future returns? But then you also got to um, downtrend a little bit on the pressure of what you use on the calculator because a lot of these numerical values change, and you also change the way you game theory majority of the time. What does XX mean in game theory exactly? Why 4-4? It wasn't something personally that we created. It was just something that was a universal aspect of game theory. Game theory is just sort of being able to choose different aspects of, let's say you're a character and then you get to choose to talk to either NPC 1, NPC 2, NPC 3. You have different opportunities. That is basically the game theory, because then you have different solutions. So you're basically able to route different numbers. In this case, they said 3-3 was stake and bond. You know, 3-3 is stake. 4-4 is bond. Then there's 9-9, which is you borrow against your collateral, which is lending. Um, we'll go more in depth into it later, but those numerical values were just set in stone for people to understand that that's just game theory, and you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do a little bit of 3, 3, and 4. They're doing staking and bonding. So we'll just have more diagrams as we go through it, and we'll go more into detail when you guys have more questions. Then to stake and bond. Stake and bond in terms of DeFi is pretty common. Of what staking is you depositing a certain amount of coins, a certain amount of capital into a protocol, and making sure you're getting a return, either an APY or APR on top of that, and getting that either vested to you over time, over a period, or over a year. There's different factors depending where you send your money. And here in OtterClam, you just stake your asset and you see the return after every epoch. Every epoch is every 8 hours, and an epoch happens 3 times per day. So now a bond is a little bit more different. It's almost like it's almost if you heard the common terminology of burning. You burn your tokens away. You're essentially sacrificing tokens into our treasury of Clam to give you a payout discount, because that's why you see on OtterClam on our actual page on the bond sections that they have discounts, they have returns, they have different rates. Majority of those bonds are used to sort of give you a premium to get clams in return for a vested amount of time. You get a ROI of that, a return of interest. So a bond is a little bit more different. It's you sort of trying to mitigate any future knowledge of the market, and trying to get a premium on the future knowledge that you sort of hindsight that you think you would have. It's like thinking, oh, well, maybe I think Bitcoin's going to dump next week, so maybe I'm a bond at a premium. Or maybe that the market's going sideways, nothing's happening, so you'll just safely stake. Those are different situations, and that's all going back to the game theory of either 3-3, 4-4, and then later down the line when we get more utilities of 9-9 and so on. We had a question about what is the difference between APR and APY. I'm gonna have to pull up a little bit of a diagram later down the line from a website that it kind of explains to you the difference of calculations, because APR is a return. APY is your yield that you're always harvesting, and they expect you that you're compounding it back in every day per the year, and then you get that harvested amount. We'll be looking at those numerical values and equations in a second as we go through more. And then this is more part of the game theory, more about when you should consider 4-4 over 3-3 and why. Like I said, when you're doing 4-4, it's more about you trying to hindsight market knowledge. When you're thinking about 3-3, is that you're just trying to sustain your value, trying to keep it there afloat, and earning a stable interest that we give you pretty much in a protocol. And then the ROI in the calculator is sort of you being able to use, in theory, that market knowledge to either make a decision to staking and to do that ROI, of either staking or bonding, sort of say. One of the big key aspects of the calculator is the use case of you trying to see maybe if Clam had a different specific price, if the APY was at a different rate, if it was slashed, if maybe you had used maybe a couple clams in staking, and then maybe slashed. Let's say you had 110, you take 10 to maybe put them in bonds, and you want to use a calculator to see how much you would still earn with just your 100. Then boom, you get to see the different return rates while still seeing your bond rates at the same time. Because remember, the current bonds we have also give you your rebases. So that's the interesting.
Yeah, the calculator is just a tool to help you guys estimate your returns and whether or not which part of game theory you want to participate in or partake in and what would be best for you.
Also, please keep in mind that the calculator shouldn't be taken as a safe state because the APY gradually decreases over time. So it's not feasible to check how much money will I have made in 1 year because the APY that we currently face is decreasing over time. So you won't have as much as you may think right now. But the good part is your guys are all early in this. We also have a small MC. So the APY will, you're earning a lot of APY right now that is going to compound in the long run. So when you join early and get the high APY yields, you earn way more clams even down the line when the APY isn't anymore as high as it used to.
Yeah, the factors of either your quantity amount of clam, either the APY, either the rebase amount will all be constantly changing, and your thought process of game theory changes based on the market knowledge you have every day. And that's sort of what would be changing here as you sort of dive yourself deeper into DeFi. You make certain decisions, and most of the time here in OtterClam, we're mostly trying to teach you DeFi and teach you how to safely secure your asset, which is here in OtterClam. And it doesn't matter if the market goes up or down. It's really just understanding that game theory wins you the race in a long term schemes than most investments in traditional finance. So if you go to our actual documents, you can look at some of the basic game theory here in terms of what we think about. Maybe you're sacrificing, for example, some clams to bond, some clams to stake. Let's say you have 100 clams. When would be the most appropriate time to be bonding? It would be, well, let's say your return of interest in clam would be 12%. With the current APY and all the interest rate that you're getting. But when you see a bond that's giving you a 16%, then maybe you would want a bond. But the thing is, would you want to sell your clam to bond? That's actually a negative. When you see any sort of selling is actually just hurtful for not just the protocol, but also for you in general, because you're minusing in clam, right? You really, in terms of scale, you always want to introduce new money um, into clam, right? In terms of scale, it's like if you're gonna bond, you really don't want to be selling your clam to bond. You want to be having stable coins aside to be introducing that into the bond, right? In terms of staking, you really just set that aside and sort of leave it there to continuously grow and get to a point where you're satisfied with the numerical value, and then you could start taking that interest to look at maybe getting bonds, but you also should be looking at protocol health and sort of market value, sustainability. One of the big key factors here in OtterClam is we like people to bond because it introduces treasury usage and protocol. We also like people to stake because we want to have most of the clams within the protocol itself and not really introduce it outside of a different pool or something like that. It's the main thing of what it is as a DAO is that we consistently control majority of the clam as a whole as a team, and that's by doing the whole game theory of 3-3 and staking and doing bonding with 4-4 and really just trying to cycle it through. So some of the key factors here is like Olympus had their game factor of you getting disarmed and getting armed with the gun. And our factor is just you losing your clams and subtracting them or gaining more clams, and we're all going to make it. Like we have this quote, most otters are going to make it, and it's because they will choose different game theories of either selling their clam to bond or they're going to keep holding their clam and introduce new money into bonding. There's different aspects to it, so we could kind of go back into some of the questions that we had here, um, just to continue covering them. In terms of the experience, you don't really need that much experience. Um, a lot of this is just kind of like if you can understand stocks, if you can understand interest rates that what a bank could give you, interest rates that maybe a normal crypto.com or Coinbase on just stable assets holding on your wallet. That's basically the knowledge isn't something you have to be like a mathematician for. It's something that it's really simplified. It's just sort of you putting the time and the effort like any other thing in life, you know. Um, so in terms of experience, you don't need a lot. You just need proper guidance and proper tool usage, you know. And here we're trying to give you that proper tool usage. It's already set in stone for you. We already talked about XX. It's really just a game theory. Really just we'll say 3-3. That's you buying and you staking, and leave it as that. 4-4. That's you either doing a -1, you selling clam to go into 4, or +1 of you introducing new money going to 4, which is bonding. To get then a payout that is also still 3-3 because you're getting your rebase. So in technicality, when you bond, you're getting a 3-3 on top of that. So there's really no point to really sell your clams. If you already have clams, stake them. If you have new money, introduce it into the bonds. You know, and that's how you cycle it in. How do you stake or bond? Well, to stake, you go to OtterClam.
Sleepy, you're not talking in case you're talking right now. We don't hear you.
Sorry, I was just basically setting it up. Here on our page, you would go to OtterClam, and then you would go directly into the staking tab, and then you would stake your certain amount of clams. You would then do approval. So what you do in terms of approval is you're approving your clams that you have purchased through QuickSwap. If you don't know how to purchase it, there's a buy button right here. You would buy it on QuickSwap, and it would take you directly to QuickSwap to basically swap my or Matic. Make sure to keep some gas for your clams. You bring it here, you do your approval. Make sure you do approval for your stake and unstake in case you ever want to do it. I don't see a reason for you to unstake, but yeah, you'll approve it, pay the gas fee. Then it would tell you to max your funds here with your clams, and then you would stake it. Now to bond is a little bit more different. Bond, you're gonna basically need either Frax. You're gonna need Frax Clam LP that you could get from Sushi Swap. You're gonna get my that you could get from QuickSwap or Sushi Swap. You could get my clam, which you would create either on QuickSwap. You could get Wrapmatic, which you would wrap it through QuickSwap. You could get Wrapmatic, which you could add liquidity. You can press these buttons, and it would automatically send you to the main page that you need to be to create these liquidity pools. Like right here, I click on that, takes me immediately to QuickSwap, create that LP pool. Once you have that LP pool, you'll come back. You gotta just like you gotta approve your clam to stake it, you gotta approve the usage of your LP to bond. So in this case, I would approve it here, max it out, pay the fee. It's two transactions basically. You're paying the approval and then you're paying the deposit. You always, in terms of crypto, you always have to pay an approval fee to open a smart contract to have your deposit be deposited, if that makes sense. So you'll see here that the bond price is a little bit high in terms of clam price. So we'll look at a better scenario right now. We see right here, Wrapmatic is giving you a discount in terms of what we see the price. The price of clam is 22. We're trying to see which one is giving us a better return of a discount within the next 5 days, and still give us our current staking yield of this. You're getting a ROI of within those 5-day rates of also those 5-day rates of your bond, that 12%. So you also got to be thinking about you getting your rebase and you getting your extra premium of more clam and getting that more rebase. So you're just trying to increase your quantity of clam over time and making the smart decision of, is this the appropriate time to sell, or is this appropriate time to bond in and keep introducing new money into the treasury? Because what we want to do is increase the treasury to sustain longevity over time. Now this one's a little bit more tricky in terms of APR and APY. It's like two different formulas. One is more in terms of your yield rate, which is you getting your harvested return, let's say in a yield farm, and it gives you a payout. That payout you have to manually compound it back in. So it's trying to calculate how much you're going to be getting that on a 24-hour basis on the whole year, 365 days. And then I'll show you right now some of the formulas for that. This guy breaks it down in terms of APR. You got which is a rate of interest per year to the interest period of N, which is your 1 year. There's also per 1 day, because what you're trying to do is also calculate your return of 24-hour period, and that's what you can do with the calculator. In terms of APR, that's the rate of return. APY is just your yield rate per day, if you really want to see it. I think the one you want to have more interest in is not really the APY. It's really more the APR. I think that one's the most important one in terms of scale, because that one will consistently be fluctuating with the APY and all of the emission rate of clam. And that one will make you have more decisions of, should you get the ROI while you're staking, or should you get the ROI from the bond. But you're also going to make sense that the harvest rebase yield is still going to impact your bond. So you'll still be getting those rebases. So in theory, you can't lose, but you also got to think about, if you like this game so much, you got to keep the protocol health going because you want the game to continue. So it's a game theory of you understanding how to cycle the money and plan to keep the treasury going all the time, keep the backing uh, as big as it can be, so we have less price impact whenever people want to price themselves out. In terms of scale of when you should consider 4-4 or 3-3, like I said, if you're more conservative approach, you don't really want to be diving deep into too many transactions, too many variables of YouTube, looking too much at the screen, looking at waiting for the bond to be at the best ROI, trying to snatch it up, trying to beat people that are thinking the same game theory. Then you just stake, you just leave it, and you look at a better interest rate than a bank. Bank gives you less than a year, like a 1%. We're giving you like a return of 15-12% in 5 days. Like, holy snap. Times have changed. It's time to change up like the conservative mindset of market theory. And it's not just game theory, it's market theory as well. Let's see. Would you choose bonding over 3-3? In my case, I like having, me personally, a bag of both. If I'm trying to sustain more of the protocol, because of me being transparent, I like being for the protocol. I have a bigger bag in stake and then a smaller bag in bondage. And so that way I could be more, what's it called? Uh, Exposed to the price of clam in the future, but also be getting premiums on any market downfall in case we get exposed to, Bitcoin's recent drops. Clam pretty much took that pretty well. And that was in terms of every other fork that you probably could have seen around was potentially falling pretty bad. We saw time drop a lot. We saw drop a lot. Not that it has any context, but it's really just which one is sort of already sustaining itself during the market crashes. And I think Clam had a very good potentiality just because of the community and the transparency of it. And that's why we're trying to bring these lessons. And then make sure you guys, like, if you guys see any improvements that we need to do, let us know personally. there in the comments. Maybe you wanted some questions being more answered right now. Maybe some questions aren't cleared up yet. So if you want to maybe let me know right now, that'd be cool.
So, thank you, Sleepy. You have been great. I appreciate you streaming this and explaining it in a very nice way. So, yeah, let's move on to the general questions, guys. If you still have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the classroom chat now. We will move on to the first questions that we have seen. I'm going to ask you, Sleepy, and if you feel like you can answer them, then feel free to. So, at some point, users have to sell or take profit, well, slash take profit. How do y'all think about taking profit or at least diversifying from clam after accumulation?
I think that's more in sense of you sort of using game theory to hindsight. You trying to take profits from your staking balance and trying to get more of an accumulation through your bonding balance. And so we here in OtterClam, if you take profit, we have nothing against you. People have to pay for rent. People have to pay for whatever they have to do for bills, families, whatever. OtterClam is just here for the long term, and we're just here to give you the transparency that in terms of protocol health, yeah, selling is bad, but it's not something we're against. So um, you in terms of a holder, someone that believes in OtterClam, you would have to basically understand looking at a chart, seeing when clam is up high, making sure you bond at a premium because the bonds would be different of a scale from the current high price to what the bond is. um, Sell whatever clam you're going to sell for whatever you want to diversify for, but then later any money you maybe gotten from that diversification, introduce it into the bonds back into clam, try and get your stable amount. For me, and let's say in a standpoint I had 100 clams. I want to reach 200 clams, but maybe there's certain days where you're just like you have 125, 127 clams. Maybe I'll sell 7 clams, take profit, um, put them into a bond. Hold up, give me a moment, guys.
So yeah, I'm gonna take it from here in the meantime. So
Yeah,
there is no
continue.
issue. There is no issue in you guys taking profits. We all here are actually trying to generate wealth for all of ourselves. So there is no hate in taking profits. It's your right. So you put your money in, you're supposed to generate money, and how can you actually realize profits if you don't take it? So yeah, you're always free to take money. You could yeah, you're asking if selling is bad all around. It is bad for the protocol, of course, because the less people are in the protocol, technically, and the less liquidity is in the protocol, the protocol shrinks. But there is no sense of having a protocol that only accumulates in money without paying you out in the end. So there is no issue in taking your profit. Will liquidity improve over time? Right now, slippage is real. We hope that the liquidity will improve over time even further. The more people we are getting into the protocol, the better the overall health is of the protocol. So yeah, that's the way to go in the future. That's what we are working for right now. You can join the DAO, maybe have some ideas that will help us in the long term. Yeah, that's how we are currently gonna go. The next question, I would like maybe someone else to respond to it. So, for example, or Sleepy wants their back, but I can ask Ross if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you think OtterClam will react to bank runs?
To bank runs. Okay. The last bank run that I really saw in crypto was the whole iron finance fiasco. I think we're too small of a protocol in terms of market cap and user base that a bank run would most likely not affect us unless like a bank literally was trying to target us. I don't think it's gonna have very much effect on us, like in the grand scheme of things.
So yeah, once the theory says when there's a bank run happening and all people want to have their money back, there's actually a theory happening that once less people are staking, the APY will be split more on the people that continuously stake. So when, let's say, our APY is at 500,000%, and all of us, or let's say 90% of us, are trying to actually take their money out of the protocol to, let's say, yield profits or similar. The idea behind this is then that the APY will increase, the yields increase for everyone inside the protocol. And the idea is if it's, let's say, 500,000 now and 90% of the community took out their profits or took out their money, the APY would immediately increase, let's say, to 5 million, 10 million%, and those hopefully attract new people with their liquidity to join and take profits, as like not take profits, but generate staking yields for themselves. So that is technically the safeguard with the APY. So the idea is the more people leave, the higher the APY becomes. And those we hope that, or in general, projects hope to earn more users or investors to join back in. We haven't seen a real big run so far, but yeah, that's the expectation behind this. I hope this answered your question.
Keep them running. Next question.
Anytime. Thank you very much for asking these questions. Of course, guys, please keep dropping your questions. I saw that Iberdaska said, way too complicated. We can ask. You can ask always. How are bond prices determined? So there are different factors, of course. For example, if a protocol is doing bad, the percentage of the bond is going down to the negative even. So when the protocol has enough liquidity inside of it and the price keeps dipping, the treasury is big enough to sustain the current user staking. On those, it does not require to print money at a cheaper price. So the treasury itself says, okay, I'm good right now. I don't need Frax, I don't need Matic, I don't need Matic. I have enough liquidity to provide to my users. When the price goes up and the more people join the staking mechanism or joining the protocol as a whole, then the protocol will need more liquidity provided to it to actually provide the liquidity in retrospect to the users back. So what the protocol does is saying, I'm providing you a clam at a discount. Let's say we are at $100 a clam. I'm talking about future prices here, of course. So let's say we have a huge influx of users, so the price of clam will increase to 100, and we will also need liquidity to provide this to keep the current runway and the current health of the protocol continuing at this certain size as well. So the protocol will actually provide 50%, 25%, 10% prices down the line. Yeah. So whenever certain events happen, big increase will yield big bonds. Of course, also when the APY is very high, the protocol will actually need more liquidity provided to it to sustain that APY with a certain runway threshold. Did that answer your question, D4? By the way, guys, I'm giving out a role called class student. Please take care of checking it if you received it. I'm doing it manually right now. Anyone who joined will receive a special role just as a little flex, so to speak. We'll be giving out rewards also for participating in this, just so you all know that this is also for all of you. Do the more stable consensus framework does sit in the treasury, or do they actually work for the treasury and another protocol earning their own APY, thus increasing the treasury? Perhaps this was answered in the last question. I missed it. I don't know. This is a very good question. Thank you, Cryptoco. I will explain first what do you mean to the community so the other people in here will understand what this means. So guys, for example, let's say There are yield farms, for example. Let's say we could call curve. It's very abstract, but you can, for instance, what different treasuries do is take their stable coins and actually not save it in the treasury and let it there, put it into a pool. Let's say Curve has a Matic pool, so the treasury puts its Matic or a part of its Matic into this pool to generate even more passive income for the treasury itself. For example, you put your money in a liquidity pool and technically you receive money on it. So what the treasury does is also provide liquidity into a different project in hope that the stable coins that are inside, for example, generate even more money or liquidity for the treasury to provide to its users. So it's not just money sitting around, but actually working. And for this question, I would ask kindly if Otter King could provide a response to this, because this is very technical. And yeah, Otter King, if you don't mind, could you respond to this, please?
Yeah, okay. We are actually planning to using like Flex or My or Matic in the treasury to deposit to another yield farming or DEX to generate their own yield. But this also need to consider the health of the treasury, because we also need to keep some extra reserve to support our APY and make the runway and the backing looks gross. So we will choose a better timing to do this. And before we do this, we will also introduce a vote to let community know we are going to do this and how much of the token we are going to use. Yeah, I hope this answers your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Otter King. So, as a little recap for everyone who joined during the explanation, yes, we are actually planning on this. We have this in mind to increase our treasury down the line on having our actual liquidity work for us further down the line and provide us with more liquidity. Currently, we are not doing this, I think not yet, because our treasury is quite small right now, and we actually would need a bigger treasury for this to happen.
Yeah, in terms of
So,
scale, that's a dividend fund pretty much. And so it's basically us setting aside certain money away from the treasury, and it basically impacts our APY, our returns to our users. And we're still, if you look at our scale, you look at any other fork, we're still pretty small. But the dividend fund of being able to funnel more treasury growth is not a bad idea. But it is something that we're not able to sustain yet until later down the line.
so yeah, actually, if you look at bigger, like for not even forks, but for example, Olympus and other projects actually do this in the meantime, generating more passive income as well as sustaining the community. So it's a thing. Once we are big enough, it's gonna be a snowball effect. The more we have in the community, the more we have in the pool, the more we will have money flowing in. So if you look at the 5 billion market cap, for example, or the treasury at Olympus, not everything is from bonds or people actually buying tokens, but also passively yielded income. I think it was like $2-3 million a day that is going into Olympus by providing liquidity to other projects. So yeah, this is actually for the long run. And yeah, once we are big enough, this will also impact us in a very positive way. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I just had a break. My voice just broke. Yeah, so great. Any more questions? Do you want to explain it, or should I explain the risk-free treasury value of treasury assets, Sleepy? Could
Well,
do if you want to.
this one's a little bit more complicated in my approach, but I think it's what the values that are not basically exposed to market In this case, risk-free values of treasury assets are my frax, stable coins, things that are not basically exposed to. Yes.
Yeah, for instance, let's say let's take a stable coin, for example, USDC. So this one does not go up or down whether the price is pumping or the market is bleeding. So if you have seen the latest recent crash, like Sleepy explained, where Time fell down, Ohm fell down, Bitcoin fell down, Ethereum fell down. So technically, if we had a big stash of, let's say, Bitcoin, the recent crash, our treasury would have fallen down in value as well because of the crash. But since we have a huge amount of stable, even if there's a bleeding market, we are not very affected by it. So the good thing is about having RFB, that's the abbreviation of it, is that we are neutral to market fluctuation, but also having a small asset of not risk-free assets will help us in retrospect of having way more liquidity once there is a bull run and the actual assets that we provide increase in value. So in bull runs, this means the more we accumulate right now with these non-RFV assets, the more we will actually have once there's a bull run. So let's say we have 2 million right now out of this 3 million TVL that are not risk-free, and we have a bull run and everything increases to 1x or 2x, then so does our TVL as well. So I'm very glad that you asked this question. I was actually waiting for someone to ask for the RFV. I was surprised no one asked them in the preparation of the class. So thank you very much, Deepo, for your very nice questions. I appreciate you. And also thank you very much for the UI UX compliment. How big is the team? Are you talking now about the moderators in general or just like the core team? The core team, I would ask OtterKing to respond to this. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have three devs, one designer and one operation. Also two like community manager. So it's totally like 7 people currently,
Yeah, so 7 people are in our core team. Thank you, OtterKing, for responding. Yeah, you can also see the designs and stuff. They are all made by our royalty group. It's not outsourced or anything. All of our code, UI, UX changes, everything is made in-house, so to speak. The issue I have with having a huge basket of stables is that the currency US dollar is not stable by any metric, as it's in a classified point of hyperinflation. So by holding stables, it's being devalued by the greater reserve system. That is actually true. So the US dollar is having hyperinflation, but because you would say the coin is like if you take the RFB, of course the value of the US dollar is decreasing, but it's going down in price as well. So that there's a better way actually to have something maybe, I don't know, pegged to the Bitcoin, since Bitcoin doesn't hyperinflate. But it's like the safest way to go for this as of now. But I totally agree. The US dollar is, of course, not stable. Sadly,
Yeah,
like
but
Ottoman said.
in terms of my though, I think it being our backing is pretty smart in scale because it has a utility where, you know, a dollar, in DeFi is just you buying your coin, but a MI has a utility in where you get bonded into your clan, get your clan payout, but then you also had a utility of it being off its peg, going into its peg, people having to get liquidated, people having to get to repay back their loan. So I think the my backing is just as good as a stable backing right now. But I do agree that eventually, like, I myself would want to have things like in the treasury, like things like klima, things like uh things like maybe what would be a geom, something bigger that would actually just keep going with the pace of the market and almost make it seem like we have a basket of NFTs. Some of the good examples are Reef Finance. They were able to do something like that during yield basket ETFs, which is pretty smart.
Of course, no problem, Sneaky Squirrel. We appreciate all questions. There is actually no big script anymore in here. We're just taking in questions you guys have in your mind, and we just discuss. It's all cozy vibes. And yeah, you can just keep asking questions. Incognito asks, are there any plans on how to onboard new users you guys had in mind, tutorial videos, influencers? Yes, of course. We are planning on improving further down the line. We're trying to innovate ourselves every day. And actually, and this is a good segue to a small thing, is that you can actually join the DAO and provide with suggestions for the entire community to work on. So you can ask or you can have your ideas realized actually because everyone's vote here is equal. So if you are saying, for example, the marketing channel, let's do fund YouTube videos or fund influencers, and you have, for example, an influencer or similar, you can suggest this, and the DAO actually votes for what has to be done. So you can actually make a difference in this. So we highly suggest you to join the DAO. Thank you for asking this. We appreciate all of your questions, guys. You can keep going if you feel like. We are here.
Yeah, the quickest way to onboard new users is strictly going to the DAO server. If you want to partake or just give us an idea that you'd feel like should be approachable with our treasury by using the voting system. And, we like to all be in favor of everything.
I see Otterborn and 1, 2, Max 3, 4, 5 typing, so I guess these might be more questions. How would you incentivize someone who is new to crypto to get into Otter, especially over another Ohm fork? So yeah, what I would do is just simply you have various metrics right now. For instance, bigger forks of Ohm or Ohm itself is not gonna double overnight anymore. Because simply the market cap is too big. So our market cap is, I believe, at $4 million. This is like very, very small. You have to keep in mind. So your actual profit can become way bigger down the line. So let's say we are aiming for a 200 million TVL. That's 50 times the current money that we have. So you could check maybe the price of clam. It will fluctuate. It won't hit for certainty, but let's say it's $1,000 a clam. So you have 20 right now, $20 a clam, $22 a clam times 50, it will be 1K. And you are earning also rebases right now. So I guess this is one point you could point to your friend, for example, or someone else you're trying to incentivize. Also, the 3-3 rebasing owning liquidity kind of project in crypto is very, very new. Ohm introduced this actually. It wasn't that big of a thing before. At first, you were lending money, providing money, so you wouldn't be actually becoming bigger over time. But by providing your own liquidity, or you're having the might over your own liquidity is only inevitably going up. So you can tell your friend or whoever you want to incentivize that, or for example, our price is very low right now, our entry point is very, very good. We also have a very dedicated team, so you can say this. We are trying to improve all the time. We are adding new things like the classroom. We are doing new things, adding 4.4. We have very many policies. We are barely a month old now, and we have already changed our project by a big, big metric. And yeah, we are just starting, we are very, very undervalued, I would say. If you look at other own forks and then look at ours, we actually have an operating DAO. Many forks have DAO in their name, but don't even have a DAO server/channel. We are audited. We have an awesome team. We have actually Doc's team members in the Otter royalty. If you look at Timeless Jack, if you ask for him his name, he will actually tell you. That's what I did at the beginning. Yeah, of course, otters are smart. If you haven't seen, they can actually fight off predators, and they can use tools. So whenever someone wants to become an otter, they actually receive the ability of using a hammer. You don't see any other animal actually doing this. And we are planning on NFTs, and we are trying to rebrand. So we started as a meme fork, but we are actually not staying a meme fork, and we are actually getting the DAO to improve this with suggestions. I have seen things that were very, very awesome. For example, donating a chunk of money to different charities for wildlife. I have seen NFTs with special bonding attributes. Yeah, so a lot of things are happening here. It's just a matter of time until the otters are gonna swim in the river moon or moon river. So yeah, what security measures do you have in place to prevent UI hacks manipulation like what happened to Badger DAO? So currently we are trying to what we do is audit our contracts, for instance, and try to finish maybe the UI UX code, and then we can also get this audited if that's possible. We have an experienced team, but this of course does not mean any, let's say, any unknown exploits, as you have seen, for example, recently Log4j, where a lot of Java applications are at risk for being exploited, or what happened at Badger DAO. So yeah, I think getting it audited further down the line is the way to go. Luckily, we don't have actually anything on the website, so you can get pretty much exploited, so to speak, because the website doesn't connect to any database or something. So it's all gathering data from the blockchain. So yeah. But of course, this security is very highly valued. If you understand maybe, let's say React or any JavaScript language, this is what the website is built on. So you can maybe take a look at the code. It's all open source on GitHub. So you guys also, for the question before how we could incentivize people, everything is open source. You can take a look. The contract is all multi-signed. There's nothing we are hiding. You can every time, at any time, look at the contract and see what is happening, what permissions we have, and you can even look if you find an exploit. You can report this, and we resolve them. Of course, keep in mind if you find something, you will also be, let's say, how do you call this? You're gonna get rewarded for this. So yeah. We appreciate all of you taking care to check everything for us. Or let's say not for us, but with us. And yeah, let's move on to the next question. Thank you very much, Incognito. Thank you very much, One to Max, for your questions. I appreciate you all. So I'm going to move to the next question from Pipehammer. Was the migration successful in the way, like, are we in a better position now after our first large correction, or would it not have made a difference? Most DAOs have experienced our price movement, so it's very hard to blame migration for the price drop. So I guess this is I can explain it on my way for you maybe to fathom what I have said, and I would like to have Otter King then respond to it in a more technical way. So the thing is, what we had is we undervalued our token at the IDO, the initial Discord offering. So there was a problem of inflation happening, that we are printing too many tokens, and the migration actually helped by splitting the token by 5. So if you had 5 tokens before the migration, it was 1. Those we could kill the inflation to a certain degree, I would say. And on that end, yes, this was a success, even though the price went down by now. And yeah, it's just if you are not losing money if you don't sell. So keep this in mind. Currently, people are saying we lost this and that money. Yes, you did, but the longer you stake and keep going, the money is gonna come back through the rebase mechanism. And I would like OtterKing maybe to go further down the line and maybe give you more insight on this. Thank you, OtterKing.
Okay, so sorry, so it's about the migration, right?
Yeah, it's about the migration. Do you think the migration was successful for the protocol?
Yeah, I think so because you can compare it to another protocol, and we never fell down under like price under the bottom price, which is much better performance compared to some many other origin fork recently. And also, we can keep in our bond selling in a larger premium before the migration, and it's what the intent we are going to do. Yeah, so yeah, I know the token price is like a very changed a lot recently, but it's also the market due to the market condition. If you can see the like CoinGecko rebase category, compare all the rebase token currently, and we are not actually uh, pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, and let's say the admin's perspective, we did actually do a successful migration. The backing is actually quite good now per token. We are not as volatile as you can see. Even through market crashes, we are at a steady pace, steadily uptrending. It's not by a big margin, but that's actually not what you want to, because once there's a big up, there's also a big down. So yeah, please keep this in mind. We are just getting started here. Yeah. Badger has a BTC bridge that got hacked, yeah. Anytime, Pipehammer. Thank you guys for asking this. I really love this. I will plan to have more things ironed out by next time. I'm gonna have the presentation in itself. Have a lot more in depth. Of course, not everything. Of course, there's not everything
Okay.
gonna be in there. So yeah.
Okay, I can
Yes.
explain. I can explain the security measure about the major DAO. Okay,
Yes, of
actually,
course.
the
Thank
major
you.
DAO is they are hacking by the like the very foundation of the technical part. It's like they're using a DNS platform, also like network management platform like Cloudflare, and the Cloudflare which can basically it's a DNS and load balancer, and also they have some enhanced function. You can inject script to your website, so it's very powerful tool. And better down their API key has been hacked, and the Cloudflare API key has been hacked. So hacker can inject the script to the website at the front end and change the approval contract on the front end, but the user won't notice that because most user won't check the approve which contract you approve in the like MetaMask or your wallet. Even so, the wallet actually show the address. So I recommend before you approve any contract can spend your token, you should check the contract is actually the contract you want to interact, and also change the limit to the amount you want to spend. Not always like spend a limit, approve, allow a limit spending. And but most people won't do this. So when you approve some like meticulous contract, they can drain your token immediately. Yeah, so that's but we also use Cloudflare as our network manager platform, and we having like two FA enabled here, and we don't have any API key using there currently. So in this current case, we don't have such vulnerability to let user hack for us. Yeah, and we make sure all developers need to enable 2FA to access all the network or GitHub deployment tool, so we can make sure you get we won't let like hacker to hack our platform and like swap some script to cause your user lose money.
Yeah, so thank you, OtterKing. So you guys, I'm gonna just recap this real quick. For the Better DAO hack, what happened was there was a Cloudflare exploit, not actually by Cloudflare, but someone had an access, the hacker had an access to a compromised key that allowed the user to have access to the DNS slash cloud, the provider for the website of Better DAO. And through this exploit, the hacker could enable some malicious code on the subset for its customers, and those the customers were being scammed through this exploit. At OtterClam, we provide very high security, and we value this. We have something called 2FA, two-factor authentication. This provides, if you log into Cloudflare, basically, you have to log in whenever you log in with a new IP, you receive an email to your account, to your email account, for you to log in. So the hacker has to actually have access to a dev account, its email account, and to log in to actually being able to access anything on the Cloudflare. And this was an issue at Better DAO. It has been mitigated by creating new API keys and such. But yeah, so we don't have this attack vector, and yeah, probably the biggest attack vector that any hacker has is the contract, and this one is saved. So yeah, you can also, I believe you can also revoke connection on your MetaMask. After you connect to our website, you can delete it on MetaMask itself. If you click on the widget, probably you have, let's say, Chrome or something, and then you click on your account, and down the line on settings, you can see where you are connected in and remove your approved websites. For example, when you have seen what happened at Snowdog, so what I did was remove my access to Snowdog and Snowbank, for instance. Yeah. You're very welcome, Incognito. We appreciate you guys asking these questions, because for sure you may think you only would like to know them, but most likely more people are here to actually wanting to learn more. So yeah, any question actually provides explanations to more than one of you. That's what I learned. Even though you asked the question and you may think you're the only one, a lot of people here may have the same question in mind, but do not want to type them down, or are too shy to write them down. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for taking this and taking your time in general and asking. And yeah, I think I will actually, if there's no more question coming up, please type, I don't know, one or something. Okay, we have one more question, and I think after this one,
Sim,
yes.
I was gonna say on that whole the MetaMask disconnect thing, I would recommend to individuals in the call to make that a common occurrence. Whenever you're done for the day, I go on there multiple times a day, and I just make sure to disconnect or clear your history and cache for any connected sites. Because you'll be surprised. You can jump on there and it might be open to things that you did NFT mints for, or things that you've had you've connected for. So try to make that a common occurrence to go in there and clear those disconnect those sites out. That would be very
I know Sleepy and I do that routinely, like every night.
I would appreciate maybe I will do this. I will keep this in mind, Giles. Thank you very much. I will actually improve on this on the next class, and I may have a video or something embedded in the next presentation. But guys, you can watch the stream of Sleepy. Maybe Sleepy, you could show us, please, how to do this.
Also, yeah, one of the other things you can do if you want to do it Sleepy on your stream is you can go to DBank and input your wallet, and you can remove approvals for contracts on DBank. So, like, all of those are approvals, and he could go in and remove approvals for things.
Yeah, DBank is very nice actually to have your entire portfolio tracked. DBank does not have everything. Actually, the communities have to apply to DBank to have them approved. So yeah, but yeah, you should always revoke permissions on your contract. It's just a safety thing. You never know what may happen further down the line. You don't know if they can actually modify the contract to a certain extent further down the line whenever you join. So yeah, always keep your wallet safe. Once it's compromised, you can technically think about that this way, that your wallet is technically gone. The hacker has as much access to your wallet as you do, and you cannot do anything about this because the seed phrase is a private key and it's like the actual entity of your website, of your wallet. It's like with the key you create a wallet technically. So your public address that you see, it's just the private key, the public key of your private key. So whenever you lose your private key, it's game over for that wallet. It's out in the wild and you cannot do anything about this. So always keep in mind to not have access, to not leave any open vectors to your wallet because you don't really have much like security against it. Only thing I would actually provide to you or any information on this would be to get a hardware wallet. So anything that happens to your wallet has to go through a hardware wallet that is very, very dumb, so to speak. You don't have a hacking vector, so no one can actually hack that wallet. So what you do is have a wallet, let's say Ledger, and download an application provided by Ledger, and thus you connect your Ledger to your PC. It's like a sandbox, and there you provide access to your transactions. So whatever you want to do something, you have to put your Ledger wallet into your PC by plugging it in, and then approve the transaction actually by accepting it on your hardware wallet. So no one can actually do it without having access to the wallet. The wallet is password secured, so no one can actually open it if you don't open it by yourself. And I'm not sure if Ledger has it, but there's also a wallet that for example, you are being held at gunpoint and they ask you to open your wallet, your hardware wallet, so you can put a second phrase that you have saved in that always opens an empty wallet, so the hacker can only see an empty wallet. So yeah, always keep in mind to have a hardware wallet. I think the MetaMask wallet is called a hot wallet, and these hardware wallets are called cold wallets because they're not that easy to be hacked. Also, the wallets are, like I said, very, very dumb and do not provide hacking vectors. The only thing they do is actually approve or deny. And yeah, you may think the price is high, like $60 or something, but keep in mind, let's say you have $20,000 on your MetaMask, so you don't really want to lose $20,000. So get a Trezor or get a Ledger wallet for this. Make your your coins safe by providing yourself something like this. You can think about
And
this.
if someone is looking into getting it, you can always chime in to general chat or ping any of the mods. Multiple of the mods I know currently use hardware wallets, cold wallets. I have an NOx, so we can all help. You know, if you have
For sure.
issues with it or have questions, we can all help you with that as well.
Yeah, same. Like I have a Nano X as well. Welcome to the club, Jost.
Yeah, I have a
yeah.
Nano S too, and I
Yeah,
love it.
welcome. Yeah, it's very, very good. I would actually advise anyone before you become big in crypto, and I hope all of us actually generate financial independence. You better invest $60 into a Nano S or Nano, I don't know, a Nano X for $100, rather than putting $200 in Clam and then get
Well,
scammed.
I do recommend it, but they did announce the new one, so I do suggest you sort of wait. But
So the other product goes down in price.
yeah. So
Yeah, for sure.
if you're looking at the 90S, wait for the new one. But if you're looking at the Nano X, then get it. But the Nano S has a new one, so I would
Yeah,
wait.
yeah. So make sure to not open sketch links in the meantime. Do not open links at all. Just open AutoClam. That's all you have to do. Nah, but make sure to stay safe, guys. Things happen way faster than you expect. It's a wild west here. We don't the beauty of crypto is actual that you don't have to give any data or out to be a part of this. But this makes it also a very big hacking factor. And when will the Nano S be released, Sleepy? Do you have any estimate on this?
I don't know the day. I just know that I saw the new news and that they also are making a debit card that is linked to
Ooh,
your Ledger wallet, so you could actually spend your Ledger assets with your debit card. And I
that
think they're
sounds
gonna have
nice.
a on-ramping and off-ramping service as well, which is gonna be cool because you'll be off the grid and still be spending, quote unquote.
Yeah, so I hope that answered your question, guys. I think we have been in this class for 1.5 hours. This was awesome. Thank you all for participating in this. This has been recorded. We are uploading this. So, yeah, we will keep this more often. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. You can give feedback on this in the chat. I'm looking at every one of you guys. And I appreciate it all. I give out all of you a certain role called class students. So thank you very much for participating. Yeah, there will be rewards given out. More coming soon.
Mog me.
Yeah, mug me. That's true.
Yeah, bug me.
We will. One day we are gonna
Can I
make
get
it,
some
guys.
Mogmies in the chat, please?
Can we
Classroom
get
students.
mugmies? I'm gonna put it as well.
That's right.
So yeah, very much. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate y'all.
All
Keep
right.
in mind to ask your friends to join in case they have questions. Like I have seen how to incentivize people.